13th. Wait, is today the 13th? I don't even know what day today is. It's the Museum Mile Festival today, so Fifth Avenue is closed off. And all the museums, there's like 7 museums along Fifth Avenue, all free today. But, oh, the Guggenheim is back there. Crazy fact, I've lived in New York for like almost 5 years now, never been to the Guggenheim before, which crazy, I don't know why. So today I was like, oh, I want to go to the Guggenheim. And I went there and there's like a huge line all the way across the block, all the way around the block, like winding around. So I was like, maybe it's not a good idea. And I'm joined by the one, the only,
Hi,
LivSPIRATION.
Internet! Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already.
Hopefully
Subscribe
they
to
are
her
already,
channel.
because we did the collab, so hopefully everyone who's watching this is already subscribed.
Cash me on the internet. How about that? Instagram, Olivia Eileen.
Yes, links below. So we're trying to like see, well, we're gonna walk through Central Park because we kind of gave up on the museum thing because it's so crowded. There's so many people here.
It's just
huge
such
lines.
I mean, it's really hot, but like
It's really hot.
It's just like one of those like good summer nights, you know?
To just like be out and about and enjoy the city.
Like, why?
Just casually walking through
Here's
bikes.
my thing. I can
Zooming
either
by
go
us.
hang out in a really hot apartment and sit around twiddling my thumbs and just distracting myself on Netflix, or I can enjoy the beauty of nature.
Oh, you know what? The sunset is really beautiful from here. Let's go up here. I took a really, really nice sunset like video here one time. It was like, I forget what video. That was like springtime in New York City or something. And I love it here. Come back to the Guggenheim another day, because check in with your New Year's resolutions. Like we're like halfway through the year, and I remember one of my New Year's resolutions in the beginning, in like December, I talked about how I wanted to start exploring like more museums that I've never been to before, and I haven't done that yet, so there's still time. We're still halfway through the year, so working on that. Come back to the Guggenheim another day when it's not like crazy packed. Such a beautiful and peaceful place. Watch the sunset at least once a week, at least. I made a little like summer bucket list the other day, and like the sunset wasn't on there because I do that anyway. But there's just like so many things I want to do this summer in New York City. There's so many like amazing free events always happening, museums to go to, random people to meet. Like Olivia was just talking to this girl who was from Ireland. It's like everyone you meet here has this unique story and place that they're from. Like, and she was telling you, like, you guys were talking about like what you do and stuff. I was just sitting like to myself enjoying the sunset.
The only thing about New York City is, I don't know, for me, like I grew up in New York State, and so even I don't want to say like New York City is overrated, because
No.
it's not, but like for me to move to New York City, I'm like 2.5, 3 hours away from like my home, so it's not really that big of a deal for me to leave. But then you just think, and like people literally come here from all over the world.
It's amazing. I know. And even it's funny because I'll meet people who they found out that I'm from Virginia and they're like, wow, you're from Virginia? That's crazy. That's so far. Like they think I'm this like farm girl from the mountains and like from super far away.
But
I'm like,
actually from
and
from
she's
mountains.
from New York. But when you tell people you're from New York State, they're just like, oh, okay, that's normal. Like they think it's close.
like,
it's New York. It's the same
No,
state.
I'm like, you do not understand. Like I come from somewhere where it's really cold. It snows a lot. I live in the freaking mountains. Like the closest closest place to go skiing from where I'm from is like a 3-minute drive down the road, not even.
That's crazy.
So I'm
didn't have
basically
that.
part of my friends, but from like the middle of nowhere, New York.
Editing that out because I don't do language.
It's not
in
like
my
the
videos.
complete middle of nowhere, but Glens Falls apparently was just visited.
Oh,
one
Glens
of the,
Falls. That's where my cousin. Wait. Is
I'm,
that where
I'm
Kelly?
from like that area, but it was just it was just voted like
Yeah,
one of
I
like
have
the best
family
small
from
towns
there.
to go. And I'm just like, why?
Oh my gosh! Shout out to Andrew and Kelly because you guys live in, or they lived in. No, they don't live there anymore. Does Kelly's? I don't even know my own family. Like someone, I don't know if Kelly still lives in Glens
Because
Falls
her-
or she moved to like another town. But my cousins are from there.
The downtown is like a strip. There's not even it's not like Saratoga where like you can go down like multiple streets and side streets and stuff like that. Like the downtown of Glens Falls is like a strip of like part of a street, and like that's it.
Upstate New York facts.
We
So
have
many
really
fun
good-
things to do there. All you do is drink and
We have really good
bonfires,
ice cream, and I'm gonna
have
be
ice cream.
pretentious because in New York they try to charge you up the butthole for ice cream.
literally.
It's like, oh, $8 for an ice cream here is like what you would get where I live for like $2.
Exactly.
So
because it's New York and because they can, that's the only reason.
20 minutes to go across the park.
Yeah, we're walking through Central Park right now to get back to the west side. Yeah. Maybe one day.
Nope.
One day we'll be rich and we'll have beautiful Central Park overlooking homes.
I feel like that's gonna be a frustrating thing for me in the future, is to like decide whether I want to send my kids to like public or private school.
True. Having kids in New York City, what is it like? Is it worth it? Public or private school?
Just because I want my kids to be like down to earth and to experience the world.
Same. And the thing is, living in New York City, your kids get exposed to like amazing diversity, which like us growing up probably didn't have as good as a perspective of. Like, I feel like
Yeah.
when you live in a place like New York City, your mind is just expanded to like all different cultures, all different walks of life from a very young age. Because when I grew up, like living in South Carolina, everyone was white, everyone was Christian. Like, I didn't have any friends who were like Muslim or Jewish or atheist or anything. Like, I just thought everyone was like the same, you know? And then you grow up and you go out into the world. Like, living in Virginia, like in the DC area, I started meeting people. Like, for the first time I had friends who were Muslim, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's so cool to have our first like black like, that sounds so weird, it's my first black friend. Like, we had like a black family that lived in our neighborhood that we were friends with.
Did
and
we
like
cross
having different
the street
cultures
here?
Yeah, cross. So it's really amazing to just have friends who are not like you, or like different religion, different skin color, different walks of life. And living in New York, it's like so easy to do that.
Love you.
Even though people can be separated in their little groups, there's still more opportunity to be meshed with each other because we're all in the same city together. So what I was saying earlier, going back to like our New Year's resolutions, I think it's really good to check in with ourselves where we're at like halfway through the year to hold ourselves accountable. And the reason why I made that video, the video that I made from New Year's Eve, I was sitting around the bonfire with my family and we were like talking about our goals, and one of mine was make a video every Monday, which I've been successful in. I think one day I uploaded on Tuesday, like, oh no, whatever. Anyways, and then the other one was explore New York more and like go to the new museums. Because the thing is, one thing I miss so much about college is that I took classes, and for the class assignments, my professors would have us go to the museums. I took like an art in New York City class where the whole summer we went all around to like different museums, and it was such an amazing class because it kind of like forces you to go. Obviously, if you have like a class assignment and you're gonna go, it's like, hey class, meet in the Brooklyn Museum this week, and like next week we're gonna meet in the Met, and then the next week we're gonna meet in like the Chelsea Art Galleries, and the next week, like, you know, every week it was a different place that we would meet and discuss, and we would like have papers and presentations on these artworks and like artists that we chose. Currently standing in the middle of 86 and Broadway, and I feel like I'm such a memories person. Like, I'll have a certain memory in a specific place, and then every time I go back to that place I think of this memory. And I remember I worked at Uno's Pizza on East 86th Street, and I would take the crosstown bus like every day to work, and I hated that job so much. I remember some days I would commute all the way to work, get on the bus. I lived in like, well, I'm not gonna say where I live, but I would commute all the way to work, get to work. My manager would be like, oh, well, we don't need you today. We're like light, we're pretty, it's not gonna be a busy night, so you can just go home. And I'm like, I came all the way to work to be sent home like before my shift even started. Or like sometimes I would be there for like 10 minutes or something like that, and then the manager would be like, oh, you can just go home, it's okay. And I'm like, what? Or sometimes I'd be a few hosts, they would like schedule too many people that day, and there'd be too many people, and they would be like, okay, who wants to go home today? And I'm just like, are you kidding me? So it was super unprofessional, super just not run well. And then, yeah, it was just a horrible, I mean, there's so many reasons. I don't really want to like get into all the negativity reasons why I hated that job so much, but needless to say, I was absolutely miserable. Everything about that job, I hated it so much. The environment, the pay, the management, just I'm getting like triggered thinking about it. So anyways, I would wait on this over here, the crosstown bus. I would wait for the bus every single day, and across the street there's this building. So me being like miserable every single day, I used to literally listen to that song by Kanye West, Spaceship, every day when I went to work because I just like needed something to wallow in self-pity over. And I'd also listen to that Andy Grammer song, Keep Your Head Up. So I was miserable in this time in my life, standing for the bus, waiting at the bus stop over here, and there was this elderly man in the window in this building over here. And he was just kind of staring out the window. He looked really sad, and I feel like I connect to people who just look sad on the inside because I know how they feel. And so I was staring, and I was just like, you know what? He looks really sad. I'm gonna just wave to him and smile. So I was like sitting on the street, standing on the street looking really dorky, like waving my arm to him, like smiling, waving my arm. And he didn't notice me for like a while. And then a few minutes later, he looked out the window and waved back, and I was so happy, and he just like looked really happy that someone actually was like seeing him and acknowledging him, and we had this nice moment, like me and this random guy in a building, which like sounds super weird, but yeah, it was super nice. So I think when you're like going through some rough times or something, you find someone else that you can like connect to, and it's just so good. When you like make other people happy, it makes you happy. So if you're miserable, just go out and like make somebody's day.